At first glance, it may look like any construction site. But workers at this stately brick mansion in the hills of central Virginia are restoring the house to the way it looked nearly 200 years ago. Montpelier was home to the fourth president of the United States. Michael Quinn is president of the Montpelier Foundation.
It's important to restore James Madison's home because there is no other place that really tells his story. He has no other home, he has no monument on the Mall in Washington, he's not on the circulating currency of the American nation.
Although not as well known as George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, James Madison played a very important role in the founding of the United States. He was, Quinn says, considered the driving force behind the document that shaped the nation's government.
Again and again, his contemporaries pointed to him as the man whose genius really made the Constitution a success, whose political skills ensured its adoption, and that really formed the foundation of the American Union.
Madison was also the author of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 constitutional amendments which guarantee Americans basic rights, such as freedom of speech and religion. And this is where Madison grew up, spent most of his life, and retired to in 1817 after he served 2 terms as president. He died at Montpelier in 1836.
By the end of his life, Montpelier really reflected James Madison's identity, his sense of himself.
Madison's widow, Dolly, sold the house in 1844, and it passed through a number of owners. The last resident, Marion DuPont Scott, lived here her entire life. She left it to the National Trust, an independent charity, requesting that Montpelier be restored to the way it was when Madison lived here. The DuPont family bought the estate in 1901 and doubled the size of the house, which was already covered in pink stucco. Restoration work began in 2003 by tearing down their additions. As work continues, great attention is being paid to even the smallest details to ensure everything is historically accurate. John Jeans is director of restoration.
Montpelier is a unique case. You probably would not be as aggressive in removing more modern features as we have been here. And our criteria has always been, would Madison recognize this home if he were to return?
Carpenter Keith Forey is one of more than 30 specialized craftsmen who have worked on Montpelier. He says this has been the highlight of his 40-plus years in the business.
There's something about being able to work on a house of this kind of historical value that just takes it into a whole different realm. There's no corners cut here. Everything is done by everybody that I've seen to the best of their ability, and I've seen everybody rise to the opportunity.
Throughout most of the restoration, visitors have been able to tour the house. But on September 17th, the anniversary of the adoption of the U.S. Constitution, all work at Montpelier will be complete, and visitors will see the house as it was when Madison lived here. Susan Logue, VOA News, at James Madison's Montpelier.